How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with Alex and Ryan. So we're kind of dwindling down here. The hours are certainly getting thinner and thinner for the Juan Soto sweepstakes. We'll get you guys a little bit of updates there and kind of what's going on with the negotiations and the price tag. There's not really anything new, but I do think it is worthwhile discussing kind of the cost that is going up. But I kind of wanted to give my opinion on something, Ryan. I thought it was kind of a logical take and a logical kind of connection between the overall price and what the Yankees are actually paying on a year-to-year basis. So, right now the reports that the Yankees, Mets, and Red Sox and all have deals upward of $700 million. Now, the Yankees and Mets are expected to be the favorites in terms of they're battling it out right now. Nobody really knows how far this is going to go, 730, 740, 750. It'll keep going up until Steve Cohen says, this is where I'm sticking, and, hopefully the Steinbrenner will match that, but at the moment, I have to say, I think that the Yankees have a good foot in the door. At least they have a good offer on the table, and I think that unless the Mets are going to give him $50 million over that price, do the Yankees stop giving? It's going to be tough, man. I'm really interested to see how things continue to progress here. Things could happen any minute, to be quite honest. But listen, Ryan, my perspective is pretty simple. The Yankees are really only giving Soto $19 million more per season than they gave him this past year. So the Yankees are going to spend this money no matter what. I think people forget that this $700 million will be spent, whether it's on Soto or multiple players. Do you really want to go after Anthony Santander coming off his best season ever, or Teoscar Hernandez, who's 32 years old, or somebody else who has more injury-prone qualities? You give the money to Soto because he's 26, he's consistent, he helped you get to a World Series, and he's going to be the face of your franchise long after Aaron Judge hits a steep decline due to age. That's why the Yankees are going all in on Soto right now. He made $31 million in arbitration this past year. It's only a $19 million gap to get to 50. So you really have to think of it in context of the yearly salary and not the total money, because that money will be spent whether it's spread out between multiple players. And think about it this way. If they sign two players to, $200 million contracts, Max Fried, and, maybe they give, I don't know, maybe not $200 million for Hernandez or somebody else, or even Cody Bellinger's $26 million. You're getting two players, inconsistent, volatile, maybe have injury issues, and the Cubs are trying to get rid of Bellinger for a reason right now. And then Soto, obviously, a guy that's going to propel you to unforeseen levels. But, Ryan, what are you thinking at this moment? Obviously, Sunday, winter meetings today. Things probably will happen quickly. I think there could be a deal today or tomorrow, depending on how much the price continues to go up. We'll obviously discuss the Max Fried conversation. Bob Nightingale said this between the Yankees and Red Sox who are expected to sign him. So is it a pivot? Is it a plan B for the Yankees, or can they afford Fried and Soto? I think, we broke this down pretty well the other day. We think they can afford both if they get a little creative with how they go about things and, executing some trades. But how are you feeling right now in your confidence in the Juan Soto sweepstakes?
So the way I look at this right now is that, number one, talking about Juan Soto, the Yankees have made a very aggressive bid. I think that both of those numbers are either identical or right around the same for the Yankees and the Mets bid. The fact that we know that this is coming to a close very soon would indicate to me, Alex, that these two teams are going to get very many more rounds of bidding, if any. So, I say that just to tell Yankee fans, or even Mets fans, if you're like, all right, well, if they do this, just do that. And then if they do that, no. I don't think it's going to be a they do that, you do this thing. I think it's if Soto, and I think Soto, it's down to the Mets and the Yankees. I do think that. I could be wrong. I'm not, I'm speculating here. But it comes down to whether Soto wants to be a Yankee or a Met, right? Usually, agents work for players. Not usually, they do. They work for the player. Typically, a player has a preferred team, and they want a certain number from that team at a certain point, if not very early into the free agency. In the case of Aaron Judge, I think it was immediate, right? He immediately wanted to be a New York Yankee, if that makes sense. And it was just that he was trying to get leverage from the Giants to then go back to the Yankees. Although at the time, we knew that Aaron Judge had told his wife, in 10 years we'll be married and I'll be playing for the San Francisco Giants. So, I remember hearing that and being very scared. As it pertains to a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Alex, I don't think he had a preferred team when he hit the market. I think he had a preferred team once he met with everyone and went, the Dodgers are stacked. Shohei Ohtani's over there. Mookie Betts is over there. Their player development's top of the line. I think once he got informed, he went, okay, I want the Dodgers, and told his agent, Joel Wolfe, Tell me, just try to get the highest number and try to make sure it's from the Dodgers. I want to go there. I think that's where it got to at that point. Now that we've gotten through all the meetings, now that Soto's become acclimated with all these teams, look, Soto was a Yankee already. Soto was a Yankee for a year. Soto was a Yankee, and honestly, I think he enjoyed this experience. And look, we'll see if the New York Yankees are, the experience that Soto had here is enough for him to come back and for him to say, no, I want to be a New York Yankee. Scott, get 750 from the Yankees. If you can get 750, I'll put pen to paper. If that, I think that could be a possibility. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he met with the Mets and he was blown away. Maybe he was like, no, I want to be a New York Met. Try to get 750 from the Mets. Hell, maybe he was blown away from by the Red Sox. I don't know. But I think we're at the point, Alex, where he knows where he wants to be, and he's trying to get the number from the team he's looking for. And as it pertains to Max Fried, and now we're going to shift to this part of the conversation. I'm sorry I spent so much time talking about Soto, but I feel like he's the main show right now. I don't think anyone can think about anything other than Soto right now. Fried is someone who I think the Yankees can sign alongside Soto. I don't think they can do Burns and Soto, but I do think that they can get Fried and get Soto. We talked about that in our offseason, kind of like our mock offseason plan. Yes, it's expensive, but then you control the starting pitching market. And if you control the starting pitching market as the New York Yankees, you can go out and you can get maybe a cost-controlled bat or a good rental bat to supplement your lineup without spending money. I would also like to argue, Alex, that can apply to any starter that is a capable number 2 pitcher. I would look at the Seattle Mariners and say, hey, what's it going to take for Luis Castillo? I know they need a first baseman. They're really looking at first baseman. Could someone like Ben Rice appeal to them? Someone who's a young prospect who hits the ball very hard and throw on another bat or something like that, maybe a 2 prospect deal, help them offload the money for Luis Castillo and take in a Luis Castillo. Alex, at that point, Castillo costs $24 million towards luxury tax. Now, I'll look at his contract because, again, I think I mentioned either on this podcast or on a solo one that I did that you have to change the way that the contract is structured based on the money left. So I just wanted to look at the money left. It's the same. It's all the same. It's like $24 million. So you're adding $24 million towards your luxury tax. Maybe the Mariners eat a little bit of that money, but $24 million for Luis Castillo, and then you trade one of your pitchers and you go get a bat, I would totally be down for that. I mentioned Luis Castillo because I think he is a true number 1 caliber pitcher. But again, Alex, this all ties back to this thought that we had that you want to control the pitching market after you sign Soto because this pitching market has gotten extreme. If you sign Soto and then you rip Max Fried from the Red Sox, I don't know what the Red Sox are going to do, Alex, and that's exactly the position you want to put them in. You want to put them in a position where, yes, again, they missed out on their top guys. You want to put the pressure on them. You want to take guys from your rivals. And, of course, I mean, Alex, Max Fried has the best ERA for any pitcher with at least 500 innings pitched since 2020, right? So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees can afford to do a lot of things here. And, looking back just at this sweepstakes for a second, I think right now it's the Yankees Mets. Like, what is the difference there? It's really just money. If you're Soto, you're walking right back into a situation where you had a good experience. You have Aaron Judge batting behind you. Like, this is a team ready to win. The Mets have a lot to do. They have a lot of pieces to fill. Now, they will fill them for sure. But it's just a matter of can they replicate the same success? Sean Manaea and Quintana and, Luis Severino way outperformed their contracts last year. I don't think they get that level of competency. And listen, Ryan, let's be honest. All the Mets have been doing is stealing our coaching. All they've been doing is stealing the Yankees coaches. Obviously, they see the Yankees are doing it successful. They're trying to bring these guys in to replicate what the Yankees are doing. If I'm Juan Soto, I'm looking at the Mets saying, they're just the Yankees' little brother. All they're doing is taking Yankees assets, taking Yankees former players. This is what they've been doing for a long time. So, what I do believe is that the Yankees have a substantial advantage in terms of they are established, their coaching is elite, they have a good farm system, they have the money to spend, they're going to make further upgrades, in my opinion. We've broken down how they can do that step by step. So if you don't think that's possible, please go check out our previous videos. We break down literally the financial, we took the perfect plan, literally is in the title. We talk about how they could address a lot of these positions and still stay right below or just over a $300 million luxury tax pay. So I think that the Yankees have more than enough ability to keep continuing to build this roster. A 26-year-old superstar like this does not land on the open market very often. We may not see a player like Juan Soto for another decade. Like, that's how rare it is to see a guy this freaking talented at that age and that consistency and that quality with that much respect around the league. you just don't find players like this very often, right? Like, imagine getting Aaron Judge at 26 years old to sign his contract. Like, that's what we're talking about. $700 million in 4 or 5 years from now is going to look like a walk in the park. It's going to look like a steal for a player like this. Like, that's how inflation is going. That's how these things are being projected. And $50 million for Soto, yeah, it's a freaking ton of money, no doubt about it. The Yankees are the biggest brand in the sport. Maybe the Dodgers are up there too, neck and neck, but the Yankees have, a lot of resources, and I don't think this should be a situation where the Yankees are being frugal, and I don't think they are being frugal. $730 million, like, I'll give it to Hal Steinbrenner, man. He's putting his money where his mouth is right now, and I can respect that. He's doing everything he can, but the truth is Steve Cohen has more money than God, and it's like, sometimes you just can't beat that. And I think that's where Soto is ultimately trying to figure out what the future looks like here is, are the Mets going to give me the legacy money? Are they going to give me $50 million more than the Yankees and give me this money that, like, it erases any reason to pick the Yankees? I mean, 730, 750, 760. What the hell's the difference when in the end, Ryan? He can't spend that much money in lifetimes. Like, what's the difference? So, I don't know. We're going to find out. I think the endorsements he get with the Yankees will make up the difference just because of the brand power. But, at this point, looking at Max Fried, really great lefty arm. I think he would complement Garrett Cole, and he'd offer as an insurance policy in case Cole, that regression last year due to the injury. If that's something that's more consistent for the Yankees and they have to kind of start dealing with, workload management for Garrett Cole, having Fried, 30 years old, 3 years of his last 4 has pitched over 160 innings. Of course you prefer like 200 like Corbin Burns, but Fried is going to get like $10 million less per season than Burns for a reason. Having an elite lefty starter is so beneficial. So I do think, especially against like a Dodgers team that's a heavily lefty lineup, like you benefit from this. You have to go up against Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, some of the best lefty hitters in the game. Max Muncy too in that lineup. Like, you have to have elite lefty starting. And I do think that Max Fried would be a perfect addition. Just if we meet with the Dodgers again, he's a great pitcher to have. So not to mention, it allows you to be a little bit flexible. You could trade Nestor Cortez. We talked about a potential deal with the San Francisco Giants if you want to offload some salary for Marcus Stroman's contract. Like, the Yankees can get creative here. But I do think that Max Fried would be such a great addition. Now, they're saying $200 million in excess of that for 6 or 7 years. Ryan, what's the most you're willing to pay for Max Fried? Is it, right now I think the projections are between $26-28 million. I don't think, the way pitchers are getting paid, you never really can say, but I don't think I'm willing to push beyond 30 mil, maybe not even 29 or 28 mil for Max Fried. I think 26 to 28 between that range is probably the highest I would go, assuming that we do get Soto in addition to that. Where do you kind of land with the price tag there?
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with you. $26 to $28 million is my range. And look, if there's someone saying, well, that's not going to get it done, then I guess we don't want him at at his price point, right? And that's fine. And that's assuming the Yankees get Soto, right? That's if they get Soto. That's the scenario we're talking about here. Am I willing to go to 30 if you don't get Soto? Maybe. But, at the end of the day, it's just a lot easier if you just give money to Soto. Like, I'm willing to go to kind of crazy lengths to bring Soto back. I said this today, and I want to second this statement. It's better to overpay Soto than to not have Soto, if we're being honest, right? Like, at this point in time, probably for the best. We'll see where this ends up going, but that's my opinion. And as it pertains to Fried, he's a great pitcher, but obviously you have concerns about any time you pay a pitcher. They are one poorly thrown, they're one UCL injury away from not being on the mound for a year and a half. Hitters don't really have that same unique injury that can just knock them out for a year and a half that seemingly everyone has to deal with at this point. So, I'm just at the point in time, Alex, where, I am a little concerned about paying a starting pitcher long term. It's why I mentioned Castillo, because it's only a 3-year contract remaining. So, again, $26-20 million, I'm fine with that, but I think we can both agree it's certainly a risk once you start going more years and get to that $30 million a year mark.
It's definitely gets a lot more risky. We kind of saw, I know Carlos Rodon's not making 30 mil, but you're seeing the risks of paying starting pitchers, especially as they enter that 30-year-old range. The regression of Rodon was a killer for the Yankees. It killed them at times, especially in the playoffs. He was super erratic and super inconsistent. Having that elite lefty allows you to kind of offset those losses there. And then Nestor Cortez, obviously we love Nestor, great guy, awesome Yankee. He's only 1 year left on his contract. He is, unless the Yankees get freed, I imagine Nestor probably stays because of that workhorse mentality, because he has 1 year left. But if they are able to get freed, you can leverage Nestor now. Teams will be like, I think people undervalue Nestor at times. Nestor would be a really hot commodity if he was on the trade market, because he's a really, really cheap right now. He can pitch 150 plus innings. He can give you good ERA. He can give you good run prevention. Like, this is a good player. He'd be a number 3, number 2 on some of these lesser teams. Like, if Cleveland wanted to acquire Nestor Cortez, he'd immediately be one of their best pitchers. He'd be one of the best pitchers on the freaking Mets. Like, let's be quite honest with you. Right now, they have Clay Holmes trying to start. And if you're a Yankee fan, you know how hilarious that is. He's pitched 63 innings consistently over the last 3 years. Super erratic. Do you trust him going 5, 6, 7 innings? I mean, probably never. We'll never see him go 7 innings, but I don't even think he gets 4 or 5 innings on an average start. I don't think that, the Mets, whatever they're planning to do with Clay Holmes is going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how that unfolds for him. But the Yankees have gotten tremendous value from bullpen pieces. Like, you could trade Nestor for a high leverage bullpen piece has controllable years. Like, that could be something they want to do with Nestor if they want to flip him into, they don't want to spend on a Hoffman or a Tanner Scott. They could flip him for, a controllable bullpen arm. So, the Yankees can get creative here. The Soto domino will determine the fallout of that. And, Willie Adames already off the board. They've been connected to Teoscar Hernandez. I think the Yankees, if they lose Soto, we're going to see them go bang, 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 bang. Like, they're going to start signing players really quickly. I think it'll all unfold. They'll have these plans in place, but I don't really think they're thinking they're going to lose Soto. I think if they can match the Mets price and they get up to unforeseen levels, I just don't know how far Steve Cohen's willing to go, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, how far is Steve willing to go for Juan Soto? It's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely excited to see how this unfolds over the next couple hours, if not day or two. But guys, always happy to hear your thoughts down below in the YouTube comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.